Hi, Diana.
Hi, Bruce.
We're here to talk about our blind tasting series and to talk about the third session that we did in our blind tasting series.
You ran this one.
I did, and it was about red wine.
Red wine in the Finger Lakes? I thought we were Riesling people.
Well, we've always been Riesling people. Well, not always, but we've been always in the Finger Lakes known for Riesling, but I think that's changing.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, remember in our previous blind tasting series, our associate Micah Coons talked about how varieties become successful in a region for any number of reasons. Particularly nature can create mutations and a grape variety emerges as a winner. But also I think humans can decide, you know, we think one of these grape varieties is going to work for us both in terms of the vineyard and as well in the marketplace.
So is this happening right now here?
I think it is. I think it's happening right now.
With what?
Well, I think for the last 40 years, there's been a lot of experimentation here,
Right.
but in some cases, certain grape varieties have not made it through the winter, so
Right.
they just failed as a plant. And then some grape varieties made wines that you couldn't rely on to be of consistent high quality
Right.
year after
Right.
year.
Right. So either nature killed them or people just gave up on them altogether.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So, so we picked.
Well, I think what we decided to do
Yeah.
was see if we took wines made from the Finger Lakes and compared them to wines from other regions where those grape varieties are known to
Well,
really
no.
thrive
Yeah,
and flourish.
right.
We would get a good way to compare how we're doing with some of the more well-known regions for those varieties.
Right. So the wines we picked were Pinot Noir, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon, right?
Right, and we picked a Cabernet Sauvignon from California, a Pinot from Oregon, and we also picked a Cabernet Franc from the Loire Valley of France.
Right.
Do you want
The
to know?
Merlot? Where'd the
No,
Merlot go?
the Merlot was from California.
California
Yeah,
also?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. So, and they were about the same price.
About the same price point,
Mm-hmm.
and surprisingly, I think our wines from the Finger Lakes really, what I would say, held their own really nicely with these other wines from around the world. As long as the price points were the same, we happened to pick pretty good vintages
Right, of the-
from the Finger Lakes so
Right.
that we were showing them our best showing.
So we really can make good reds from.
I think
from
we
the Finger
can. I
Lakes,
mean,
huh?
these wines really were fine,
Right.
but the trouble is we can't make that same quality of wine every single year. It's not that
Right.
consistent. Our weather isn't as consistent as it is in certain other parts of the world.
Right. So,
I would say the one
yes,
that
which,
showed the best was Cabernet Franc.
oh, really?
Yeah, Cabernet
Well,
Franc, I mean, that's our opinion here, but we
Right.
think in terms of consistency, Cabernet Franc can be produced year in, year out here in the Finger Lakes, much the way Riesling can,
Right, right.
to be high quality and hold its own against other wines in the world.
Are we trying anything else?
Well, we might begin to experiment with some other things. For instance, we think there's a grape related to Pinot Noir called Gamay Noir that
Right.
might be
Beaujolais.
Yes, in the Beaujolais region of France. That grape might actually prove to be a consistent producer here in the
Right,
Finger Lakes.
right.
There are other red grape varieties that do well in the Finger Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
Lemberger is
Oh,
one
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Saperavi is
Saperavi.
another one.
Right.
But you know, they're not well known really,
Right.
and it's just
They
going to
do well every year.
They do well every year, but it's going to take a long time for such a lesser known grape variety to really get traction
In the market.
marketplace.
Right, yep. So we've really hung our hat on which one?
Well, we've certainly hung our hat on Cabernet Franc,
Right.
but we've planted a little Merlot because we
Right.
think
Yeah,
Merlot
yeah.
can blend with
Right,
Cab
Merlot.
Franc nicely. A little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon just to create a little backbone sometimes.
Right.
But you know, we're on the verge of Gamay Noir, so more about that later.
Great. Well, you know what that means we have to do?
I think it means we have to keep up the good work.